What's going on, guys? I talk a lot about righteousness and, walking the straight path and all that stuff, which I spent many years not doing. One, because I just gave into whatever I wanted to go get, and that was it. We can see that throughout society, and that's the wrong way to think. And just to give a snapshot of this, because this is a very long, can be a very long conversation. But you have to understand that let me paint this picture. I always use combat overseas because I'm pretty familiar with it. Is overseas, we'd have these things called FOBs, forward operating bases, and we would have there'd be guard posts, and there'd be gates, and there's walls, and there's patrols, and there's stuff like that, and where it's like a compound or a base that you're trying to protect. You can see this through movies, through history. All these things, but so there we'll just use guard towers. Like guard towers, we'll just say it's a square on all four corners. If I take down one of those guards from the guard tower, take away their night vision, their thermals, whatever, their sniper position, whatever capabilities that may be on there, that is a weak spot, a weak area in that fort or that forward operating base or FOB. So the enemy, if their enemy's just a little bit smarter thing, be like, okay, we need to go over here because it's I think I got dye on my face. It's funny, I'm filming here and I got dye on my face. I'm working on some Bible covers. Where was I? Okay, so that's what they're going to do. They're going to go where the weak area is. That's just, you can see that in nature. Lions, they go for the weak gazelle. Sharks, they go for the wounded or baby seal. That's just what we do. It's through almost across the board. Well, in the spiritual darkness, what we would call the devil, it's not just the devil coming at you. It has many agents, evil spirits, unclean spirits, demons, whatever you want to call it. It's got many names. It can come in many ways. But that spiritual darkness plays on us as humans in the natural, and we see those natural manifestations through our addictions, bondages, wrongful thinking, what we can call stronghold thinking, stuff like that. So the point of being on this righteous path is going back to the the forward operating base, is when we sin, which just means we're not following the path, we're not doing the right thing. All right, and many of you know exactly what you're doing, and some of you might not know what you're doing, and that'll be revealed as you start kind of peeling back these layers of walking in the righteous path. But when we choose not to do these things, to walk in the righteous path, what we're doing is we're essentially taking down the guard from the guard post, and we're giving an open door for the enemy. And that open door causes the enemy to come in and its friends and just wrecks us. And it usually, it goes right here, and it starts here, and then it manifests where it leads to suicide, it leads to homosexual tendencies, it leads to rage, it leads to gossip, it leads to gluttony, alcoholism, porn addictions. You just pick your flavor. I mean, that's this is the way it comes out. And what it does when we have these open doors is it lures us. It's okay, this works on them. It works on them. And they know us because they've been watching us and for forever, throughout our life. And I know some of you are like, oh, that sounds ridiculous. And I thought the same thing too. But if we go back to the Bible, it's throughout Scripture, Old Testament and New. And it's in play today. And so if you just turn your blind eye to it, it's not going to change. You can't just be wish it to go away. It doesn't work that way. You can play the plausible deniability game all day long, but it's still there. It doesn't take away the truth. So you have to, that's where you hear in the Bible all the time, stand firm, act in faith, go to the truth, because the Lord, it's hey, I want to protect you, but here's what we got to be doing. We have to be walking righteously so we don't open up these gates, these rights to the enemy. And it's not all, I'm not saying it's all the enemy. And the enemy has three heads: the world, the flesh, and the devil. So, the world, our society in which we live in, it's normal to do this, it's normal to do that. I talk about it quite often. Just look at the society which we live in, and it's a boop going down fast. And it's ridiculous. It's honestly pathetic. And I lived there forever, so I'm not judging anyone. But once you see and you pull yourself out of that debauchery, I guess you could say, you see the truth, and it's like, man, I can't believe I was played, but we all are, because we get these voices, these whispers, these thoughts, and we conform to the stuff around us, which is why we're told don't conform to this world. There's reasons for this. We're told to renew our minds daily, because every day is a new battle. And the enemy's going to throw this at you, throw that at you. The world's going to do what the world does. And then we're our fleshly selves. You know, we want. Like, my wife might make cookies sometimes, and, you know, like, I should just have a cookie. Sometimes I want like 14 cookies. You know, that's like my flesh. I just what I want. And you can see that as we want more. We're never satisfied. And that's where we're told, like, hey, die to your flesh and feed the spirit, because the spirit and the flesh are constantly warring against each other. And you have got to starve out that flesh and feed the spirit. And it's not easy. It's not easy. And we're told that the path of righteousness is hard, which is why very few do it. And that path is very narrow, but it's very wide for those that are, you know, going down the wrong path. Then you have the devil, the enemy. And again, it's not just Satan. He's got the fallen angels, and they've got demons and spawns. And I mean, and I don't have all the answers, and don't pretend to, but they'll play on you, and don't confuse that with your fleshly tendencies, thinking that it's all demonic, because it's not all demonic. A lot of it's just you being, you know, given into your flesh. But you got to recognize these things. And if you don't recognize this, and if this is like news to you, that's kind of the problem that we kind of go back is the modern day church. A lot of churches don't speak on this stuff because they're afraid to scare people off. But there's enough of, we can't be dancing around like, oh, we don't want to put this out because we want them to come back, or we don't want to offend them. Like, dude, that has got to stop. And that's why that mentality is why we have this problem that we have right now. We have people that don't know what to do, and it's not, you don't know what you don't know. But we have got to be taught and brought up in the right way. And that way is through the Lord Jesus. And he speaks on these things. And there's a lot of pastors and preachers that refuse to talk about this. One, based on they're not qualified. That's one. Two, they don't have certain experiences. Three, they're afraid. They're living out of fear. And we're told all throughout the Bible, have no fear. Don't be afraid. All this stuff to walk these things out. And that's just the truth. And I'm not picking on anyone. It's just the truth. And when we're doing that, and we're not, because we don't know, if we don't get the intel, how do we know? How would you know? You wouldn't know if there's a grizzly bear outside that could maul you, unless someone's like, hey, don't go outside, or pops on the news. Hey, there's a grizzly bear roaming through the neighborhood. Okay, you'd stay inside. Otherwise, you might be out there for bait. And that's what's happening. You have got to be informed on this stuff, and it's not to be scared. You're not to worry or any of that. That's why we need to focus our eyes on Christ, because the enemy's job, number one mission, is to get these eyes of ours off Christ. So what does that mean? Looking at the storm, look at your financial situations, look at that food, look at that woman, look at stuff on the internet, look at these things, these tangible things of the world. I want to get your eyes off of Jesus. Doesn't mean when you look at Jesus, you can't have these amazing blessings, dude. On contrary, dude, I don't even know if that's the right word, but it's amazing. When he's involved, the blessings just, and he says the blessings get poured out on the righteous. And that's the goal, is to change our ways. I come from a community that is just breeding of just not great things and not seeking the Lord. And I was a fooled man. I was actually a little boy. And then when you see these things, you're like, man, okay, we gotta tell the world. And am I going to get feedback for this stuff? Probably. But I know the truth. So I have to talk about the truth. It's not, I can't feed the machine that tells you what you want to hear. I need to tell you what you need to hear, so you can properly equip yourself, like with the armor of God, with the word, with prayer, with obedience, with willingness, and set your sights on Christ, not the things of this world or the things of this flesh or the stuff that the enemy is giving you just to throw you off track and detour you. We need to, stay on that track. And sorry for the ramble on, but I just felt compelled to share that. And I know that's a lot to unpack, That is a lot to unpack. I got it, and I didn't cover every little thing. There's much explanations into this 10-minute video, but that's what we got for now. Take care.